Hi, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here at Chit Chat with Char. Our mission is to connect, collaborate, and cultivate. Today, I have the honor and the pleasure of speaking with Miss Melissa Berry of Berry and Associates. If Without further ado, Melissa, will you just come on and grace us with your presence? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. How's it going?
It is going great. It's a gorgeous day, beautiful day, and business is great. I cannot complain. I mean, we're busy, but busy is a good thing. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
going great.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I did not read your bio. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, so my name is Melissa Berry. I have been in the title industry for almost 24 years. I basically started right out of high school at the age of 19, but it was something that I kind of fell into. And looking back, honestly, I feel like it was uh, God's presence and having His hand over my life and directing me. Because of my early entry into this industry, I've been able to open my own fee office, which is like a franchise, and have been open now for 2 years. But it was not something that I planned on. I mean, when you're 19 and you're getting started into the adult world, do you know what you're doing? Do you have an idea of what your future is going to be? I mean, we don't. And that was the reason why I didn't go to college, because I wasn't ready for college. I
Hmm.
wasn't ready to go to school immediately after high school. But mom's like, you got to get a job. You can't just sit around here and not do anything. So I got started with a temp service
Okay.
that put me in different corporate jobs. And
Hmm.
that was the biggest blessing ever, because I was able to enter and just get a different feel for different adult corporate jobs. I had an assignment at Perot Systems. I had another assignment at another corporate office. I can never remember the name of it. But then they finally placed me with another title company that was an entry level position. And in that office, I was there for 4 years, and I learned all the back end stuff to title that I could possibly learn. I was at their title plant, so I learned how to pull film. I learned how to pull tax certs, how to do curative on files, policies, record. I mean, everything that you do on the back end, I learned, and then that helped me when I transitioned over to what you call the escrow side of things, where we are doing the processing for contracts and refinances. But I wanted to learn. I wanted to absorb as much as I could. So I asked to cross train into that. And I think that was probably the best thing that I could have done for myself, because all of that is helping me with having my own office now. And I know what to do and how to do and how to navigate through all of that. So now, fast forward, 2 years ago, I opened up my own fee office, and it's been the best blessing, headache, challenge, reward that I could have probably have that I have faced today.
Yes.
It's been exciting, but it's definitely had its ups and downs. I don't want to paint a pretty picture. I don't want to paint an unrealistic picture,
Right.
because there's so many ups and downs to having your own business or just trying to be successful in life. I mean, I love those memes where you see, what people think success is, and it just has this, continuous path upward, but it's not. Success is like this. And without those failures, without those falls, you don't know how strong you are, and you don't know how far you could push yourself to continue your success. So you need those falls, you need those setbacks, because it challenges you to do things better for yourself.
That's
Um,
right. That's
so
right.
I'm excited.
Girl, you said a mouthful.
I
There's so
did.
much. I
I
know,
did.
but and you can tell that you're living it, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you live it, there is some passion that comes behind how you communicate what
Yeah.
you're going through and how you're going through it. So you've said a couple of things that I want to touch on.
Okay.
Um, One thing that you mentioned was success goes up and down, right?
Yes.
What is your definition of success?
Um, I would say. if you are happy with what you're doing, you are being successful. There's a lot of people who work or are in relationships or in situations that they're not happy in. But if you are truly happy with your environment, with your day to day, with your job, with family, I mean, that's success. I mean, there's
Yeah.
different levels of success. There's different definitions of success. Success is not about having all the money in the world, because we know there's a lot of heartache that does come with being in that type of position. But success is not defined by money, in my opinion. Money helps, don't get me wrong, because
Right.
I've been able to bless others with my financial success, which is part of what I wanted to do when I got to the position that I could bless others. But success for me, and that is actually success for me, that's part of it. Being able to help others, being able to be happy that I can help provide financially for my loved ones, especially my kids who are now becoming young adults and going into the world. And now I can guide and direct them
Right.
with my experiences and my journey, and they see it and they love it. And that's the best feeling in the world, because as you know, as a mom, all you want is for your kids to be able to have differently, or not have to struggle like you, but to still appreciate what they've been given, from as a parent. So there's a lot of different things that I define as success, but mainly it's just being happy with where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah. Being content. I like that.
Mhm.
I like
Yes.
that. And so one of the other things that you mentioned was you talked about not being ready for college, straight out of high school. I
Yeah.
think that is something that a lot of young adults go through, where it's like, I
Yes.
don't know what I'm doing. So talk about
Yes.
that a little bit.
Oh, yes. I love to talk about that, actually, because I feel like society has conditioned us to feel like we have to go to college. Now, I have my own personal beliefs about the whole college, empire. But as when you're in high school and you're looking at yourself and you think, okay, in a couple years I'm going to graduate, and then your senior year hits, I'm graduating this year, and what am I going to do? I don't want to go to school. I'm not ready to go back into college. I don't want to do classwork. I don't want to do papers. I don't want to do essays. But what am I going to do? What am I
Right.
going to do? And I remember, for me, it was scary. It was scary to think, how am I going to navigate as an adult? And I saw my mom do it, and I saw my dad do it. And of course, you see all these other adults adulting, but
Yeah.
how do you do it? And so but I knew that I wasn't ready. And from a little girl, I mean, my parents will tell you that I've always been pretty strong-headed, but they would use the word stubborn.
Yeah.
Um, but I realized that I just had my own ideas from when I was young.
Mhm.
And and I tell parents and friends that have kids like this, if you see your child like that, know that that is a leadership quality, and
Mhm.
help them guide and direct it, or redirect it into a positive path. But you know, I don't tell my kids that they have to go to college. I give them a choice, and if they want to go to college, great. This is what I recommend if you're not sure. And what I tell them and their friends is, get a business degree. If you're not sure what you want to do, get a business degree, because that degree can be utilized in any field, in any industry. And
Yeah.
if it's something that if you 10 years from, or 10, 15 years from the time you graduate and you got your business degree, and you fall into something that's your passion, and now you want to do your own thing, that business degree is going to help set up your own business for success, because you're going to know what to do. I mean, there's so many things that I had to learn on my own. I didn't
Yes.
know how to do an Excel spreadsheet. I didn't know how to do any of those.
Right.
When I first started in the industry, I didn't know how to email. Like, I was 19, and it's crazy to think now, we didn't know how to, I didn't know how to send an email.
Mhm.
But you don't have to have success by going to college. And if you don't know what you want to do right now, then don't go, or go and get your basics out the way, and find a degree that can be utilized across the board.
Yes.
Um, that's my advice. And that's what I would say. And that is what I've said to my kids, is if you don't want to go to college, it's okay. It really is. And I don't want you to feel bad that you didn't go. And I am a great example of what you can accomplish with hard work and determination without a degree.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to have that hard work and determination, whether you have a degree or not, because you could take that degree, you can have it, but still not do anything with it if you don't have that passion inside you or that work ethic. So degree is just a piece of paper, in my opinion. But I will say college and getting that degree does give a sense of ownership or
accomplishment.
An accomplishment. So that within itself is rewarding.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you can't be successful in life.
Right. I love that. And I think that's a message that we need to share more often, is that, college is not the end all be all.
Right.
It's a great stepping stone. And I think in that environment, it helps to grow you up some, because now you're learning how to be independent and, deal with things on your own. So I think that there are some definite benefits for it. But like you said, it does not mean that you will not be successful if you don't go to college.
Right.
So I think that's a message that definitely needs to be shared. So do you have any regrets at this point, knowing what you know now, having been through all the things that you've been through? How do you have any regrets about maybe not going to college, or maybe things that you could have done differently?
I do. There is a part of me that regrets not going, but then I wouldn't know what to have majored in. I feel like if I would have went, I probably would have partied. I probably would. And this is what I was thinking, when I was trying to decide if I want to go to college or not, because I had so many friends that did this. They went to college, they partied, they dropped out after a year or two, they didn't finish. And of course, there's a lot of friends that I had that did finish.
Right.
But even the ones that did finish, I'm still more successful than where they were. So because I know what I want to do now, I regret not sticking with it, because originally I wanted to be a lawyer, but I knew that going to law school was going to require about a 7 to 8 year commitment after high school. And I was like, oh, I can't do that right now. I could not wrap my head around that commitment, and financially either. I mean, I didn't have any type of scholarships. I could have applied for grants, but I didn't know what to do. And my parents didn't go to college. They graduated high school, but they didn't go to college. So I couldn't really get the direction from them for that. I was kind of left on my own. Well, and again, my parents know that I'm strong-headed. So they knew so they knew that I was going to do what I wanted to do regardless of what they said. But I wasn't ready for college. Now that I'll be 43 this year, and I think about what that could have done for me and helped me where I'm at, I do regret that, but I wouldn't have known. So a part of me has a small regret, because I wish I would have done it earlier, but then I wouldn't have been able to have the path that I had to get me where I'm at today. And I really feel like this was just God's plan. I mean, this was his plan, and who am I to deter from his plan?
Right.
But with that said, my goal is to go to college and get my law degree. Not to be a litigator, not to go to court, because I don't want to do that. That is a whole other ball game. But so that I can have my law degree to own my own office without having to partner with an attorney.
Okay, well, hold that thought just 1 second. We're going to break for commercial and honor our sponsors. Yes. So when we come back, I want to go into a little bit more detail about that.
Okay.
Looking forward to hearing from that.
You are watching Chit Chat with Char, hosted by Charmaine Byers and powered by The Difference, the voice of small businesses and the communities they serve. Today's show is made possible by the following small business partner: Home Title Law, home title protection with up to $1 million guarantee in case of fraud. Ace of Bull Online Texas, Real Estate School and Courses, offering TREC-approved pre-licensing, CE, SAE, and broker licensing courses. Smart Credit Monitoring helps you control your credit score, money, and identity, all in one place. Phone.com. Phone.com is the modern, work from anywhere solution for today's agile, mobile, and always on entrepreneurs and growing businesses. CoreNet, business asset and liability protections. Our business filing experts will help you get your business moving. Start a business, incorporate or form an LLC today with CoreNet. For more info about our sponsors and their services, or if you'd like info on how you and your business can sponsor this show or others like it, just check the show description or in the comments for the relevant links. And now back to the show.
All right. Thank you so much to our sponsors who make my show possible. So Melissa, you talked about going back to school or going to school to become an attorney, so that you don't have to have that partnership with a fee attorney. So talk to us a little bit about what that means.
I'm not doing it for the sole purpose to not have the partnership, but to fulfill my dream that I didn't fulfill when I was younger. That's part of it. The other part is to be able to offer the same opportunities to other escrow officers that he has offered me. And with that being said, is he's given me an opportunity to have my own thing. He is technically the owner on paper between us and Lawyers Title. He's listed as the owner because you cannot be an owner of a title company without being an attorney. But then we have our own separate agreement that we have between the two of us. So in essence, I'm not the owner, but I am the owner. But we're still a franchise of Lawyers Title. And basically it's just that we're contracted with them to be branded by them and to get our title work from them. So I want to be able to give other escrow officers that opportunity, which I can still do now with the position that I'm in now. There's just a third party in play with him as the attorney. But I just want to carry on what he's offered me. I've learned a lot from him. He's an amazing real estate litigation attorney. I mean, every time I listen to him talk about different cases, I'm always in awe because I'm kind of like nerdy like that, where I love to read and not just read, but read like historical paperwork or just details. I mean, that I mean, I'm a very detailed person, so that really intrigues me. But I want to be able to offer that to other escrow officers and continue. He's older. He's not elder, but he's older. So at some point he will retire. My hopes are to either take over the franchises that he owns, but I also still want to grow it. And it's more about giving the same opportunity that I was given to other escrow officers who want something for themselves, because this is a very rare transaction or transition or even ownership that I have with him that a lot of other fee offices don't have, or even title offices don't have. A lot of fee offices, they're owned and operated by the attorney, and they're your employer, and you do what they say, and it's all about their brand, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those who have already been in the industry for so long and have their own following, and they're already out there doing all the hard work and they're hustling and they're keeping the clients, well, they can do the same exact thing, but have a greater financial reward by having their own franchise. And that's what I want to offer those and help teach them that, teach them the operational side of things and what it takes and how it can be done. And anybody can do it as long as you set your mind to it and you really want to learn, it can be accomplished. And I can help with that. So I want to give that opportunity to those who want it. And I'm willing, even now to talk to people who want it. There's a couple people who I approached who I know have the potential, but I think that for them, it's a scary step, no doubt. For
sure.
But I definitely want to be able to help elevate and let me
Right.
help, other closers who I know have that potential and who want to. If they're willing
Right.
to do the work, I'm willing to support them and back them 100%.
That's excellent. And I think the one of the things that you mentioned that's so important is we have to have stepping stones, right? We have to have those people that see something in us that can
Hmm.
help propel us and take us to the next level. Because I think if without those people around us, we miss opportunities.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
one thing that I always think about in being in the position that I am as a branch manager
Hmm.
with Coldwell Banker Apex, I never saw that for myself, right?
Yeah.
Moving out of a corporate environment was and moving into real estate, I wanted to be on my own and I didn't want to have to manage other people. I've had
Yeah.
throughout my corporate career, I've been in management and leadership and managed people. So trying to get away from that, right?
Hmm.
But then when I was offered the opportunity to do that, I did not know how much I would love it. I had
Yeah.
no idea
Yeah.
how much I love it. And
Yeah.
it's like, while I still sell on a very small level, I love, love, love the opportunity to be able to do all the things that you just said.
Hmm.
Mentor, you're grooming, you're having these
Hmm.
conversations, you're pushing people, you're
Hmm.
showing them that you see something in them more than they can see in themselves at that moment.
You're
Like
right.
that's where my passion is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, but we need people like that around us and
Yeah.
people that are not afraid to say, you know what, you're doing awesome. You're
Yeah.
doing a wonderful job.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes as women, we forget to acknowledge each other. We forget to say, you know what, Melissa, you are killing it. And I'm so proud and so glad that you are my friend because I get to watch you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we forget to just step back and acknowledge that. We can think in our minds that, yeah, you know what, they're actually doing good. But without the verbal
Yeah.
acknowledgement, sometimes
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, you hit the nail on the head because if you think about all our social media platforms that we have, we get to see that person's life. We get to see them grow. We get to see everything that they're posting and sharing with us. And we will think it, we'll say good job or whatever, but I think, people kind of take it and just keep rolling with it.
yeah,
But when you have that heart to heart and that face to face, or just, really that direct conversation with them, I mean, I had a lot of people tell me since the party, our client appreciation party,
which is
how
amazing, by the
I
way.
know it was so much fun. I didn't want it to end. We had so much fun. But they just told me that how much I inspired them. And, some of it brought me to, tears because it's like, I didn't know that I could inspire somebody, that I was capable of that. And I didn't think about it like that. I just put my head down and I was focused on what I wanted to do. And I just kept pushing myself.
Right.
But I don't realize that I'm inspiring. And I think we all kind of get in that mindset where we don't realize what we're doing is being inspirational. But there's a lot of people who have been inspiring to me. You are one of them. I remember when you were a realtor, not in management, and I've just seen how far you come. I mean, just this alone, this chit chat with Char, I mean, I love it. I love it. And so you are one of the people that inspire me as well. So I understand when we don't feel that and we are acknowledged and we're told how it makes a difference. And so
Right.
I do try my best to, when I'm thinking about something, I'll shoot somebody a quick text. Hey, I was thinking about you. I saw this post because I don't want to put it on Facebook because I feel like it's not, it's sincere. Don't get me wrong, but it's more meaningful when it's a direct private message to that person because it's for them and them only. It's not to
Right.
have the world see what you're trying to say. It's meant for them in their eyes
Right.
only.
Right.
But I believe that wholeheartedly. It's, as women, we do forget. As women, we step back and we look at everybody doing great things, but we say things in our head. We just don't always, voice it.
Yeah.
But we need people like that in our circle to keep pushing us. And
Absolutely.
I love being in this position now where I'm at, because the two closers that I have under me, they're so amazing, and I love having them a part of my team. They're both single mothers, and I was a single mother at one point, and after my divorce, my ex-husband, and it was hard. It was hard to build, it was hard to grow, it was hard, just emotionally and mentally. And I even look back and I think, I don't know how I did it, I don't know how I made it through. But for them, I want to be there to help them, because I know what it's like. I know what they're going through, because they both still have kids, probably 10, 12 range, where my son will be 18 next week. Wow. And my daughter's 22. Yes. So I've gone through that part of their life where they're young, and we struggled with daycare, with picking them up from school, and not being able to make events, or not being able to make closing, or having to work around that. And I am 1000% supportive of when they have to step away, and go get, deal with kids, deal with their kids, deal with family. Family comes first. And that's the culture that I have set up in my offices, where family's first. And, with COVID and everything, that has elevated that even more. I've always been about family, but COVID just, reaffirmed everything for us, that family has to come first, because you just never know when somebody will be here and when they will not. So I definitely, have that culture mindset in our office, and we support each other. All of us support each other in our closings, in our files, in phone calls, and, insisting clients when they come in. It's not, oh, well, that's that person's file, or that's that person's client. No, how can I help you? Right. Because at the end of the day, it is about teamwork, and it's about supporting each other, regardless of who the client is.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. I know you can hear the passion in my voice, because
you're just so excited, and it just makes me smile. I mean, I think my face is hurting from just smiling, and just, hearing the passion, and just seeing where you are, and just knowing that there is so much more ahead of you.
There is, because I don't want to sound like I'm knocking other title companies, because it's not about that. It's about, but it is about separating yourself from the corporate environment, so to speak, into creating something that you want. Because unfortunately, in the corporate environment, and I get why they do it, because they have to have the same rules across the board. But there has to be some flexibility for, exceptions, and making judgment calls. And they have to trust their managers to be able to do that for the individual offices. And I think they get people in management positions that don't really have that experience.
Yeah.
And then that creates a culture for that office that is not kosher for each individual. And so then they're not happy with coming to work. I've been in plenty of situations like that with different corporate offices. And I finally realized I don't want to work in a corporate office anymore. I like the fee offices. So when this opportunity came about, I was introduced to my attorney by a mutual friend. And we met over the course of 6 months, probably, 5 or 6 times. And the more that I met with him, the more that I thought about it, the more that I prayed about it, it led me to just take, that leap of faith, and I can do this. I was already doing it where I was at with a prior title company, because I was bringing in my clients. I had my book of business, and I was bringing in the revenue. So I'm like, well, why not do that for myself? You know what to do. You know how to run an office. And I've been in plenty of positions where I had to run offices, but I wasn't the manager. So I wasn't given the credit. I wasn't given the acknowledgement. I wasn't being appreciated for it. I don't think I was taken serious. And so I finally just you've done this plenty of times. You can do this in your sleep. Just step out on faith. And of course, having the support of my husband was important, but he's always been my number one fan. And we both prayed about it together, and I took that step. And 2 years ago, I opened my office right before COVID, mind you. So I was a little freaked out. I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't
Yes.
know. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go back to corporate. And thank goodness I didn't, but it's been the best 2 years. I mean, I think, we can all attest to the real estate market that it's been the best 2 years in the real estate market. Mind you, it's crazy, trying to get bids and trying to get, business and with listings limited and builders and all that, but it's still been a great 2 years.
Great turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break here to acknowledge our sponsors, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about that.
Okay.
You are watching Chit Chat with Char, hosted by Charmaine Byers and powered by The Difference, the voice of small businesses and the communities they serve. Today's show is made possible by the following small business partner: Home Title Lock, home title protection with up to $1 million guarantee in case of fraud. Ace of Bull Online Texas, real estate school and courses, offering Trek-approved pre-licensing, CE, SAE, and broker licensing courses. Smart Credit Monitoring helps you control your credit score, money, and identity, all in one place. Phone.com. Phone.com is the modern, work from anywhere solution for today's agile, mobile, and always on entrepreneurs and growing businesses. Coronet, business asset and liability protections. Our business filing experts will help you get your business moving. Start a business, incorporate or form an LLC today with Coronet. For more info about our sponsors and their services, or if you'd like info on how you and your business can sponsor this show or others like it, just check the show description or in the comments for the relevant links. And now back to the show.
All right. Well, Miss Melissa, okay, so we've talked about a lot. We've talked about your definition of success. We've talked about the obstacles and hurdles that you had, coming out of high school, not going to college, but making a decision now as an adult to go back to school to obtain your attorney's license. Is that what it's called, a license?
A degree.
A degree. Okay, a degree. I'm so used to.
I still need to find that out too.
It's a law degree. That makes more sense. But I'm so used to saying license. But yeah, it's a law degree. Going back to get your law degree, and then using that platform to then further elevate, the people that are around you and that are coming up behind you. So I think all of that is absolutely amazing that you had that opportunity. And then just using the stepping stones that we have by, taking the advice and the words from the people around us. One of the things that we wanted to talk about specifically is having a set of influential friends, circle, your family. Let's talk a little bit about that, a little bit more about that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to continue to be real and realistic with that. Family, it can be hard getting that support from family.
That's true.
And, I know my family loves me. I know that they are proud of me and excited for me. But then sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of resentment, from some.
Yeah.
Because then you get that, oh, now you think you're this and now you think you're that. And it's not that at all. I've learned that in order to take your business and life to the next level, if you want to be able to have those luxury items, there's nothing wrong with it if you're willing to put in the hard work for it.
Right.
So why should I feel, ashamed about paying for this or paying for that, or hiring a cleaning lady, having somebody that comes and cleans my house every 2 weeks? I've worked hard for that,
Right.
and recently I moved into, my husband and I bought a house at the Oaks of Firewheel, and we're on the golf course.
Yes.
Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought that I could afford something like this.
Right.
And him either. And, we talk about our upbringing because my husband's very open with his life and things that he had to go through. And, he had a very rough life,
Yeah.
lived in the projects, parents were on drugs, lived on the streets for a few years. And he, as well as I, we talk about how God had his hand in our lives at that point to protect us, that we were not part of the statistics that most have coming from that environment.
Yes.
And we weren't poor. We didn't, I didn't grow up in the projects or anything like that. But we weren't rich, but we were very blessed. We didn't go without, my mom made sure that we had what we needed to have.
Right.
But I feel like some family members just kind of, give me that side eye, and it could be all in my head because they don't say it, but it's because they don't say certain things as, supportive and words of encouragement that makes you feel like, okay, well, if they're not encouraging you and they're not proud of you, then is it the opposite? Are they resenting you? Do they think now that you think that you're better than them? Which I don't think that at all. I just am about hard work. And I have problems with certain family members that don't want to put in the hard work, but then they want to criticize what I'm doing. And I'm like, dude, where I come from. I wasn't handed, I wasn't handed a silver spoon. I worked for this. Like, how are you going to knock me down because I'm trying to build something here?
Right. Right.
So you have to love those family members from a distance.
Yeah.
You have to say, okay, I know where this family member stands. Let me put them over in this circle with the rest of, other people that love you, but don't really truly support you.
Right.
And then you have to find the friends, or family members that will support you. And unfortunately, it's more friends than anything that support you, than family members.
Right.
And so it bothered me for a long time, because I've always been the one in my family to have more than where, I was a co-signer for my sister with her car, for my dad. And then of course I had my car and this is when I was married to my ex-husband, and we had, his car. I had my dad on my insurance paying for that. And so I was always the one that people navigated to when they needed help.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, what about when I need help? Who's there for me? And, my parents have been there for me in other ways, but that took some time to learn how to appreciate what they could offer because of what they were limited to, what they knew.
Absolutely.
And as a young adult and or a teenager, you don't think about that. You want to blame your parents for this, for that, for not having this or that. But then you realize as you get older, well, that's the best that they could do with what they knew.
Exactly.
And so with me, I had to just accept that. I'm like, okay, this is what my mom did. This was her strength. This is what my dad did. This was his strength. I'm not going to fault them for their missed opportunities or the points of weakness, because they didn't know any different. They didn't know better. Their parents didn't teach them. So how are they supposed to know if they were never taught?
Right.
And so I've learned to, again, just accept that, for what it is. And then navigate to those friends and other family members that do give you those words of encouragement, that are, rooting for you, that are, telling you good job and, great, and then you want to put yourself around other influential people that are like-minded, join networking groups. I'm a part of the Master Networks group in Wiley, and I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know it was just going to be another one of those groups where, you have a small membership fee that you pay a month. And if it was, unfortunately, the stigma of what some of those could be, just about the money.
Yeah.
But I learned quickly that it's not. And it's the best networking group that I have probably been a part of in a long time, because it's with other business owners.
Yes.
And we collaborate and we lean on each other. And, sometimes we, even cry to each other, of our struggles, of what we're going through, but we're so supportive of each other, and we're always encouraging each other. And we meet once a week, and we're, for 1 hour exactly. And it's been one part of the best things that I've decided to do to help, my business and myself, because
Yes.
you learn, again, without having a college degree, without really knowing what I'm doing and how I'm navigating my business, you learn from other business owners, and you learn about their struggles and things that they failed at, and then things that they were successful with that, that you can apply to your business. So that's what I've done, with family and friends and colleagues or associates, is knowing where to place them in your life
Yeah.
is key, and not feeling bad that you have them in that box, because that's the only way you're going to be able to stay sane with what you're
Right.
going through and not feel bad. And it's not judging them, but it's not judging them, and it's not thinking that you're better than them, but
It's seeing it for what it really
right,
is.
you
It's
have
seeing
to,
it for what
yeah,
it is, and being okay with that.
yeah,
And talking about family, when you were, expressing some of the things that you had gone through, I think about how somehow, when you do make it, right? And
mm-hmm,
I'm saying make it very loosely, but when
right,
you are perceived to have made it,
mm-hmm,
there, I think individually and self-consciously, we take on some type of accountability that, oh, we need to do this and be this for our families.
yeah,
And it's like a subconscious thing. It's like you just need to jump into it. And
yeah,
people will naturally start to come to you anyway because you're the most responsible. But
right,
I think being able to identify it and say that, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. It doesn't take away my love for you.
right, right.
It doesn't take
That,
away how I feel about you, but I
yes,
need to set some boundaries for
yes,
myself and for my own sanity.
yes. And you have to do that. And it's so hard because, in our culture and with our family, it's, we have some that you do for family no matter what, because it's family. That,
Yes.
there's some mindsets like that,
Yeah.
regardless of what they're saying or what they're doing. And
Mhm.
I used to think like that, but
Yeah.
then I realized that I was being taken advantage of. I realized that this person wasn't learning, and honestly, this person still hasn't learned to this day.
Yeah.
you know and it's sad. I have love for this person, but I don't need to have this person in my inner circle, or
Right.
associate with them. I'm gonna love them from afar. I'm not judging him, because my aunt was telling me, don't judge him, and I'm like, I'm not judging him, I just don't need him a part of my life.
Right.
But she's the aunt that, well, no, it's family. You've got to do for family. And I'm like, no, you don't. You can say
Right.
no. Like, it's
Right.
okay to say no. And I'm not going to feel bad for saying no. I
Right.
used to feel bad if I could not help my family. And you're right. You take on that mentality. It's like, okay, well, you've made it, so now help somebody else, which is great. That ideally, that's what you want to do.
Right.
But when the person doesn't appreciate it and it keeps taking you for granted and keeps their hand out, like you're just supposed to, supply them with whatever, that's not family.
Right.
And the way that I've learned to think about it is, if this was not a family member, if this was somebody else, a
Would you
friend,
still accept the abuse?
would you still accept what they're giving you? Well, the answer is no. So
Right.
why do I have to make an exception because they're a family member?
Right.
And again, that's hard to do, especially when you have different opinions or mindsets from different family members that are very vocal, because we're a very vocal family.
I can only imagine.
We're a very opinionated family, and we don't hold back. But I will say, as we've gotten older, we have learned how to um, vocalize our opinions,
Right.
in a more milder manner than just, saying what we want whenever we want, and having that mindset, oh, I can, say or do whatever I want type thing. But yeah, it's just, it comes with growth. It comes with
Yeah.
maturity. It comes
Absolutely.
with a lot of things. And, and again, that's hard to do. But I will say, if you are in a situation where certain family members are doing that to you, it's okay to distance yourself from them and love them from afar.
From
And
a
you don't
distance.
have to, take on that abuse, or, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but if you're unhappy, just, figure out how to redirect that and put yourself in a different position where you're not having to deal with it emotionally, because it's emotional, and it's
Absolutely.
mentally exhausting and taxing. And you can't be the best you if you have that in your life, regardless of
Absolutely.
who it's from,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
it takes real courage and strength to do that.
Right.
But it's not easy. So I do get that.
Okay, we're going to break one more time to honor our sponsors, and
Okay.
then we'll come back and wrap it up for the last segment.
You are watching Chit Chat with Char, hosted by Charmaine Byers and powered by The Difference, the voice of small businesses and the communities they serve. Today's show is made possible by the following small business partner: Home Title Lock, home title protection with up to $1 million guarantee in case of fraud. Ace of Bull Online Texas, real estate school and courses, offering Trek-approved free licensing, CE, SAE, and broker licensing courses. Smart Credit Monitoring helps you control your credit score, money, and identity, all in one place. Phone.com. Phone.com is the modern, work from anywhere solution for today's agile, mobile, and always-on entrepreneurs and growing businesses. CoreNet, business asset and liability protections. Our business filing experts will help you get your business moving. Start a business, incorporate or form an LLC today with CoreNet. For more info about our sponsors and their services, or if you'd like info on how you and your business can sponsor this show or others like it, just check the show description or in the comments for the relevant links. And now back to the show.
Awesome. Okay, so I want to ask you, I know we've kind of talked about a lot. I wanted to, well, before I ask you the next question, want to mention your Master Networks. Is that the one that's ran by Mr. Matthew Soto?
Yes, it is.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so just want to give him a shout out, and that, from what I've heard a couple of other people who are a part of that who are really having a good time. So that's awesome. Surrounding yourself with other like-minded people, other businesses that are not necessarily the same business that you have, but it gives you a different perspective. So that's awesome. So what's next for Berry and Associates? I know you're practicing for your law degree. What else is next? What do you have coming up? What's upcoming for Berry and Associates?
Well, I'm looking to grow. So I'm looking to hire escrow officers that want to take their business and their careers in a different path, that are willing to I don't want to say what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I'm sorry. To bet on themselves, to bet on themselves.
Step out on faith, right?
Yeah, step out on faith and bet on themselves, because I know that there's that passion and fire. Those that have been doing this for a long time and that have a book of business, they love what they do. But now, where do you see yourself? My question is, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you just want to continue to be the management of running an office for another corporation? Or do you want to learn how to do this for yourself because you can? So that's what I see, for myself, coming up. I want to grow. I want to continue to give more value back to my clients, not necessarily CE classes. I am a smaller office, so there's a lot that I don't have that other offices do have, as far as what they can offer their clients or the realtors. But I want to take things into a different perspective. Realtors are a brand within a brand, and that's what I've always felt like as an escrow officer. We are all a brand within a brand, and they are 100% commissioned. They hustle, they grind, they have their ups and downs. And I think the biggest thing for us as entrepreneurs is having that support and having that motivation and having the encouragement to know how to navigate our business long term. Because I can give CE classes; those are great. We need them. But outside of that, what else do we need so that we can continue to need the CE classes?
Right.
And that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on giving back to my clients by giving them something that will help them with their business outside of the CE classes. So I am looking, to start booking, and I have somebody in mind who I've already reached out to, but to start having like seminars,
Okay.
with realtors, where there's motivational speakers, where there's leadership, or somebody who's been in leadership or who can talk about what it takes to be a leader to help your business. That's what I want to focus on more for my clients. I just became a member of the Garland Chamber of Commerce, which I am so excited about.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Being part of the chamber as a member, we have access to their conference rooms that are free to us.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that because one of them holds, I think, 10 to 15. The second one maybe holds like up to 50, but the bigger one holds up to, I think, between 100 and 150, depending on how they place tables and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm looking to grow those seminars
Yeah.
with realtors and lenders, or loan officers that come in and need that encouragement, need that motivation. Because again, we need CE classes, but if we don't have the passion to continue with our business, we're not going to need those CE classes.
That's right.
So
digging a little deeper
yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, I want to focus on the foundation of it all.
Right.
And the maintenance will come, but I want to focus on the foundation. And then I also am going to start hosting my own new home buying seminars, where I'm going to ask, different vendors, different friends, realtor, lender, partners who want to attend, to just give back and give their time, because I'm not going to charge buyers or sellers who want to come get information. I want them to truly come and be educated and have the knowledge that they need to either figure out how to sell their house without any obligations, or buy without feeling obligated to go with this certain lender or this certain realtor. And I think this gives, from hosting this event, from my perspective as a title person, I feel like will help the seller or buyer not feel obligated to go with a certain person, but they can surround themselves with the people who they need in their transaction to buy or to sell, but there's no obligation to go with that one person. And so I think that will help sellers and buyers get the information they need before they commit to what they are going to do.
I like it.
And so since I'm kind of a neutral position, then I think that they'll feel better about, attending these seminars, and they can take information from all the realtors that are there, all the loan officers that are there, and
then make a decision.
Right. And then choose who they want to go with.
I like it. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. So this is something that I've been working on or thinking about for a long time.
Yeah.
I also want to do something for high school kids who don't know what they want to do.
I love it.
I want to talk to them about investments and about finances and about credit. I have a couple of different credit repair people, friends, owners, that can just give them the knowledge that they need to teach them what credit is and why it's important. My husband and I, we've done a great job with our kids. I love to brag about my daughter because she's the epitome. She took the blueprint of what we gave her and she has stuck with it. Yeah. And at the age of 20, she had over a 700 credit score because she did what we told her to do with maintaining her credit cards and the balances and, charging and all that. And that takes discipline. But I told her, like, if you do this, you will get this. And so we preached that to her, and she's just followed us to a T. This last year, at the end of the year, we got her a car a year ago, and it was under both of our names. Well, she just recently refinanced the car into her name only.
Nice.
And she was 21 at the time and got a 1.3 interest rate.
Oh my gosh. And it's always good when you have at least one of your children that
Yeah.
will listen and do what you need them to do.
Yes, 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 yes. And so I tell my other kids, I was like, look, I was like, I'm not trying to compare you to your sister by any means, but she's a good example of what happens when you stick to the blueprint, you stick to
Absolutely.
what you're supposed to do when it comes to credit and finances. I mean, this is, she's getting offers. I see them come in the mail because her, she doesn't live here with me anymore, but her mail comes here because, I'm still mom
Yeah.
and I still want to see what comes in. And so
Yeah.
when I see stuff that I feel like she doesn't need right now at the age of 22, I tear it up and I try share and I tell her, I was like, you don't need to apply for this. And she's like, okay. And she's fine with that, because she trusts us.
Listening. That's
Yeah.
good.
And so that's another thing we want to do. I'm actually going to figure out a date this year or soon, probably in April, where I am going to host a seminar for kids in high school that are my son's age, because he's a senior this year. And I have a lot of parents. I asked this question in a group text that I had with several moms about, if I put this together, would you be interested in having your son attend, or even yourself,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're all, yes, sign him up and he's
Please.
going to be there,
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that together, and then I'm going to advertise that and market that to Wiley East and Wiley High kids, only because that's where my kids go.
Right.
And I mean, and if we get a big enough response, or even if we don't, I might, send it out to, kids in Garland area. I just don't know what to expect. I don't know how many people will come. So I kind of, want to just test the waters first before I really put it out there. And then maybe those who can't make it can join in on Zoom. So
Right.
there's a lot of different things that I'm working on that
Sounds
I
like
want
it.
to give back to the community that are outside of the title. But it's taking everything that I've learned
Right.
and using that to share with other people and giving back in that way.
That is
So
awesome.
I'm
Lots of
excited.
great, great information and
Yeah.
just a brilliant mind. So we are coming down to the last few minutes of the show, and I want to give you an opportunity to do two things.
Okay.
One, I want you to share your contact information.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that I want you to share anything that's on your heart, whatever is on your heart to share today with our listeners and our viewers on today.
Okay. So my direct cell number is 469-233-3832. My email is Melissa, Melissa, at lawyers with an S, titleusa.com. So that's Melissa at LawyersTitleUSA.com. The best way to reach me is to either text me or email me and give me an opportunity, tell me what you're looking for, ask me any questions you have, and give me an opportunity to do my research and then get back with you. Because I get tied up on the phone a lot, unfortunately, not in a bad way, but I can't respond to you if you're calling me and answer you what you need. So if you at least give me the information, then I can by text or email, then I can get back with you once I've researched my on my part. But one of the things that I just want to share with you guys is that whatever it is that you're going through right now, whatever you're feeling, it's only temporary. If especially if it's not where you want it to be, it's temporary. And I can tell you that there is hope. There is you can change it, but you have to not give up on yourself. And if you are a believer, lean on God. Have your moment with God. Have your prayer time. Don't make prayer this big thing where you have to figure out what to say and there's like a certain format in praying, because there's not. It's just having a conversation with God about whatever it is that you're going through. And that was one of my struggles too, with learning how to pray. But it just keep pushing through. And if you want to talk and vent and cry, I'm here. I will listen. And I will help in any way that I can, because I've been there. I can tell you what I've gone through, and I will share with you what I've gone through. And you can come past it. The struggles are there, the obstacles are there, but you can definitely overcome them.
I love it. I love you. Thank you
I love
so much
you.
for everything that you have done. You are an inspiration to me as well.
Thank
And I
you.
just thank you for our partnership. I thank you for our friendship. And congratulations on all of your success. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you. I love you
All
too.
right. This has been Chit Chat with Char, where our mission is to connect, collaborate, and cultivate. We have talked to Melissa Berry on today, and if you did not get her contact information, it will be in the comments below. We thank you for joining us. Join us next Wednesday for another awesome episode with Chit Chat with Char. Thank you.